Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Mayor Kibble?
Yes. Report of the manager.
Yes. We signed yesterday the FEMA grant for the check valves down on Main Street. It's a $142,528 project, of which $128,250 is the federal share, with the $14,278 non-federal share. My second item is we had a sewer break on Mill Street and Terrace Place. We also received an email thank you to the DPW from Mr. Rock, who lives on Terrace Place, which was very nice. We have also placed the order for the generators that you approved, which will go in one in this building for Town Hall, the Police Department, one at the DPW, one at the DPW Repair Garage, one at Fire Headquarters, one at the Firehouse on Washington Avenue, and one at the Friendly House. The total for all of the work and installation of the generator should be right around $800,000, which 90% of that is a grant. Fourth item I have is on tonight's meeting, you'll see that we are going out to bid for athletic equipment for the Friendly House. We were initially under the assumption that we could do it on state contract. However, the state contract was held over, there were some complications, so we're just going out to bid. The next item is we also have on the agenda tonight bid for roadway and infrastructure improvements, and it's for the projects that were held up by the DOT, for the CDBG streets, and for 4 other streets that are local. The sixth item is the memorial to the prisoners of war and persons who were missing in action is completed. That was a joint venture between the township and the Board of Ed, and they did a magnificent job. It looked great. My seventh item is the Kevin Kennedy Civic Association is having a toy drive on Friday, the 9th, from 7 to 11 at the American Legion Hall. It's for the children of Belleville. Please bring a toy. There's a buffet dinner with pizza, as the flyer reads. And last but not least, our annual tree lighting will be held Friday, December 2nd, from 6:30 to 8:30 at the high school. That's all I have.
Thanks, Mayor. Any questions? Kevin?
No.
John?
Just one thing, Mark,
Yes.
a lot of people are getting these, I'll read it in a minute, these things in the mail from the American Water Resources of New Jersey, homeowner water line repair advisory response requested, and it says our records, a lot of them are getting it. Our records indicate you are still not protected by the water line protection program from the American Water Resources of New Jersey. What I'm trying to say is, a lot of people are very upset over this. They think they need to be protected. What's going on here? I don't do, but I don't pay attention to it.
This is the first I'm being made aware of. We have to track it down and find out. Sounds like a private company that's looking for
Yeah, there's still insurance. It's insurance. But I have people in the board that really get upset over this thing.
Yeah.
Some elderly people, and they think they have to get this.
Yeah. Absolutely, I'll look at this.
Joe, you?
I just would like to extend condolences to Judge Smith and her family for the passing of her mom.
Talk in the mic, please.
Extending condolences to Judge Smith, who lost her mom this week.
Well, I just had a quick question about Mary Street.
Yeah.
Just that, follow up, I guess the DPW is there now, there's some issues going on with one of the sewer lines there, so just do me a favor, you know how you get out that. And, along the same lines, Joe, one of our other employees, Karen Carroll's mother, passed away, so if we could have a moment of silence maybe at the end. You guys think? Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. Communications?
NA Best Practices Worksheet for 2016 was submitted to the State of New Jersey Division of Community Affairs on October 21st, 2016. Ordinance number 1 for introduction. An ordinance of the Mayor and Council of the Township of Belleville, County of Essex, New Jersey, adopting amendments to the Roach Diagnostic Redevelopment Plan for 11 Franklin Avenue, Block 2301, Lot 1, to expand the principal permitted use category of Section 5 to include gasoline convenience centers subject to hours of operation to be fixed by the governing body and self-storage.
Move for introduction.
Second.
Clerk will roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Mayor Kibble?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2 for introduction. Ordinance revised general ordinances in the township of Belleville, chapter 8-16, handicap parking spaces.
Move for introduction.
Second.
Clerk call roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes.
Ordinance number 3 for introduction, an ordinance to amend the codified ordinances of the township of Belleville entitled No Parking Without Special Permit Within School Zones During School Days.
Move for introduction.
Second.
Clerk call roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes. Ordinance is public hearing.
Ordinance number 1 for public hearing, an ordinance to amend ordinance number 3443, creating personnel positions and adopt reclassification and compensation plans.
Make a motion, open it for public hearing.
Second.
Clerk call roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Make a mo-
What are we doing, changing the salary for the positions?
Yes, we're changing the salaries of 2 positions, bringing them, all the secretaries and boards equal.
To how much?
$500 a meeting.
Per meeting?
From 350 to 500.
Well, you know, with all due respect, the rent leveling and transportation secretary, I'm sure, don't have even half the duties of the
Sure they
planning
do.
board
Sure
and
they
the
do.
Zoning board do. So why are they getting that kind of money? I mean, some of those meetings are 10-minute meetings.
It's
Why are
true.
they getting that
The work they do.
$500?
The meetings are 10 minutes, the work is 50 to 70 hours a month that they put in. Ask Florence how much work Rosemary Tedasco does on that rent leveling board. Plus, the rent leveling board brings in like 20-some odd thousand a year, and the transportation committee board brings like 17,000 a year.
Well, number one, you're gonna have to prove to me 70, 80 hours a month go into that thing there. Number two, the rent leveling board will soon be abolished because we have rent vacancy decontrol. So you have lesser and lesser problems with it. But you can't tell me, in honesty, Mr. Kennedy, that it takes 70 to 80 hours. They gotta be sleeping between
No, they're
typing
not
and
saying-
every other work.
They don't do
for
it
that.
on the working time, they do it on their own time. It started off, okay, Vinny, whatever you
Yeah.
say, that's why you're still in office.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you're gonna have to prove,
I have to
70, 80
prove
hours
nothing.
is 2 full-time work weeks a
Mr.
month.
Finley, no, we don't have to prove nothing. There's an ordinance going on for a pay raise. If you want to talk about it, fine. We'll see how the council
Yeah, I
goes.
object to it because, for the reasons I
Well,
stated.
we're not
There's
considering-
nowhere near the kind of duties that the planning board and the zoning board secretaries have to do.
Okay.
So, and a lot of it's done on town time anyway, when they're doing their other duties.
Okay.
So, I object to this outrageous salary.
Thank you.
Make a motion, close it for public hearing, move for final adoption.
Second.
Clerk call roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes.
Ordinance is approved. Ordinance number 2 for public hearing, an ordinance authorizing an emergency appropriation for the preparation of a master plan of the township of Belleville, county of Essex.
Make a motion, open it for public hearing.
Second.
Clerk call roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes.
I believe this is for $50,000, is that correct? I believe
That's what it is.
Why is this go ahead, Mr.
Excuse me, up to $50,000.
Up to 50. Why is this an emergency appropriation to review a master plan study? Why would that be an emergency?
We were going to include it originally in the 16 budget, but we weren't sure of the timing and whether or not that department could get everything in line. The only reason it's not, it's categorized as an emergency because it wasn't included in the original budget. It's really an emergency appropriation just to get the ball rolling. But
And the
it's not
budget-
an emergency like a
and the budget
water
year-
line break or a sewer line break.
Does the budget end on the calendar year or off the calendar year?
Well, the budget ends at the end of the calendar year.
Why can't it be in January? What's
Because
the rush?
we were requested to introduce it now by the code enforcement department and the planners so they could begin the work. Because I guess there's extensive work that's involved. They need to review the master plan and make any changes and have recommendations added. So that's basically the reason.
So it's that length of involvement in the study.
They want to get started.
Thank you, Jim.
Make a motion to close public hearing, move for final adoption.
Second.
Clerk call roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Mayor Kibble?
Yes.
Ordinance is approved. Ordinance number 3 for public hearing, an ordinance to amend and revise general ordinances in the Township of Belleville, Chapter 8-2.2, parking prohibited at all times on certain streets.
Make a motion, open it for public hearing.
Second. Clerk call roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Mayor Kibble?
Yes.
Make a motion, close public hearing, move for final adoption.
Second.
Clerk call roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Mayor Kibble?
Yes.
Ordinance is approved.
Make a motion, open up public participation.
Second.
Clerk call roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Mayor Kibble?
Yes. Anybody want to speak? Mrs. Franklin?
Phyllis Frantantoni. Last meeting, at the end of the meeting, Mr. Kimball, when you were speaking, I nodded my head. I didn't interrupt you when you were speaking, and I can nod my head when I want. And
Okay.
as far as with redevelopment, let me tell you, when you talk about Bloomfield, my 2 sons live in Bloomfield, and with all the redevelopment they're doing there, it has not lowered their taxes 5 cents. Their taxes
They're not
are
finished yet.
through the roof. It has not. And I have seen redevelopment where my grandmother lived down the First Ward on 6th Avenue on Cutler Street near St. Lucy's Church. That place is still a disaster. They have torn down buildings and did things. Now, why would you want to destroy the people that, I think it's somewhere by Terry Street and Cortlandt Street, wherever that development is going to go, and destroy their homes and put up buildings that eventually will be demolished like they did down in Newark when they imploded them. So please rethink your decision.
Okay, and just for your comment, Mrs. Van Tony, we didn't take that land by eminent domain. They sold it to the developer. That's all I want to say.
But you're making the decision.
I'm sorry?
Mary Higgins, 148 Brighton Avenue. According to the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Act, the council is to hold meetings open to discussion with the public on specific business affecting the welfare of the public. So far, there has been no discussion from the 4 council members who voted in favor of the redevelopment resolution for Cortlandt Street. Despite the overwhelming evidence presented by members of the public detailing the objections to the redevelopment, none of you has made it clear your motivation for doing so. Decisions such as this don't happen in a vacuum and are not to be made in some private backroom wheeling and dealing with developers, contractors, and possible political donors. Your decisions in passing the resolution must be made public by law. So what are they? Councilman Longo, will begin with you.
Listen, this is not a quote where you're going to question.
Oh, no, it says
You-
that
you
it's
wanna
open to
make statements-
discussion. So
No,
let
no.
the record show
This
that
is public
Mayor
discussion.
Kimball
If you
is
wanna-
refusing to
wanna
abide by
talk,
the
you
New
speak.
Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. Are you also refusing to answer?
Yes.
Longo? Let the record show Councilman Longo is refusing to abide by the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. Councilman Cosarelli, do you have
The
anything to
mayor-
say?
Mayor Kimball is the chairman.
Council Cosarelli,
Mayor
it
Kimball-
says here, open to discussion. Councilman Rozell, what's your reason?
Mayor Kimball
What's
is
your
the
reason for
chair,
approving this?
and I abide by the mayor.
What's your reason? According to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, you have to answer in public. You owe these people an answer. You're refusing to answer. Good. Let the record show that Councilman Rovell is refusing to abide by the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. Mr. Cosarelli, you also refuse to answer? Yes or no?
My opinion is the best thing for the town. That's it.
Why?
If you want to, if you
Why is it the best thing for the town? How can the
You're free to
destruction
talk
of the
for
neighborhood
5
be the
minutes.
best?
You're
Okay, let the record show that Councilman Cosarelli thinks this is the best thing for the
Only the
town.
governing
Would you like to be
members of the
specific
governing
with that?
I think all my decisions
How
are
can it be
best for the
specific?
town.
Ruining somebody's neighborhood.
were entitled to vote the way they voted without an explanation.
Oh, no, not according to this. You don't know the law.
Okay, we don't know the law.
All right, you're all in violation of it. Let it stand
Thank
on
you
the
very-
record.
Thank you very much. Yes.
40 diesel trucks.
Oh my
That's
gosh. Mayor Kimball,
Yes.
I would like to respond to the statement that you made at the end of the October 25th meeting. I think it's unfair to compare two entities so different from one another and reference the development of neighboring towns such as Bloomfield. A township, by the way, that is nearly twice the size and agreeably larger in population, but surprisingly lower in density population than Belleville. Also a township that has a higher median income as well as a higher median property listing prices of their homes. It's like comparing a grape to a watermelon. Maybe it was an oversight in the mention that the residents in Bloomfield have been in opposition to the residential development on the account that the current market trends show a decline in residential rental properties in the area. It has been released that New Jersey has experienced one of the worst collapses in residential history, with an increase of 27% foreclosures since October 2016. That's an average of 1 in every 564 homes, and the unemployment rate continues to be on a steady incline in the county, in Essex County, at a current rate of 5.3%. Mayor Kimball, as an elected council member and the mayor of Belleville, your duty is to ensure our town conforms to policies and the laws set within, as well as the well-being of the taxpayers in Belleville, and to be concerned of moving our town in a positive, viable future. It is noticeably clear that to continue with residential development in Belleville is violating our own zoning ordinances and advocating the interests of developers and their campaign contributions. So my question is, of the governing body, what is the personal objective to sell out to the very residents in this town who have shown all of you support and trust, and for you to protect political support from developers for which you have received in their contributions? This is uncalled for. This is ridiculous for what the motion that the four of you are moving forward in, and it's going to be the demise of this township.
Through the chair. So 40 diesel trucks sitting in your backyard, illegal businesses sitting in your backyard is better than what you're looking for. That's all I have to say.
Better for
I
who?
went down there, I took a
Better for who,
look.
Councilman Robel?
I went-
Better
Can I
for
speak
who?
now?
That's
Well,
I
private
didn't talk
property.
now, will you?
You talk.
He didn't interrupt you.
This is the deal. I went down there, I've spent a lot of time in the valley over life with my parents, with my grandparents. What I look at is I see all these diesel trucks. Every morning they start up, they're running 24 hours a day. So you explain to me how that's a good thing, because I'm going to be honest with you.
No, she's not gonna explain
Not
it more.
today,
She
not
said
today, because you and I can talk later. You can explain to me someday how that's better than having a decent development in the backyard.
And explain to me then the properties of the diesel trucks up on Passaic Avenue between Nicoletti and
Talk to
Bernardo Brothers.
those people as well.
Those properties,
Talk
it's
to
the
those
same type
people
of
as well.
property.
Exactly.
For
Talk to those
29
people. They're
years,
not happy.
I've lived down on Cortlandt Street
not
and
happy.
lived within the
That's what
the
you
development
want.
That's fine.
that's currently there.
That's fine.
And we haven't had a problem.
Thank you. Jeff?
Following up on that, why are the businesses illegal? Because the township has not held Ginseng, the owner of the industrial building, to the codes and the violations that we've cited for this industrial property, up against railroad tracks, up against an industrial zone, in a corner. These trucks start up and leave. They're not sitting there 24 hours for the day. And the fact is,
They
building...
run 24 hours a day.
Pardon me?
They run 24 hours.
Well, they run all over the creation 24 hours a day, not in the neighborhood. They start up and they leave.
In and out, in and out.
No, they're not. Steve, I'm there
I was there
every
at night.
day.
I go
I'm there
there
every
too,
day.
Jeff. I
I
live in
go in the
Belleville,
morning
just like
and
you
they're
do.
gone. At 8
I
o'clock,
live
they're
there
all
too,
gone. And when I come home, they're filling up because I have to avoid them when we're going around. They come after a long day's work, which makes them viable as a business in a proper zoning for it, to have a living and
On
to...
another note, Jeff, because you keep talking about industrial, and I think that's really a key for me. Can you bring us somebody who wants to build on the Finkelstein Properties industrial? Because at this point, we have gotten responses from no one.
Well,
So you tell me you've been talking to people, you got people.
Maybe you can enlighten
bring
me
them
as to
us.
how these currents of your advertising to help them move their property. From talking to the principals that own it, the township has been less than admirable in its assistance to them to bring in
And what
businesses.
assistance?
I disagree.
Well, you're just saying-
I disagree with you. I met with
Talked to
legislators
them.
and Finkelstein.
Setting that aside,
For years.
we're talking
Setting that
about
aside.
Cortland. And this is
Cortland's the same
industrial properties that save the taxpayers money because rateables that are residentially based cost the township money. It brings up services and requirements for equipment and personnel to supply them with these services. It's industrial property. Leave it alone. It's
Yes,
paying,
industrial
although these quote-unquote illegal businesses, you know, as an industrial property owner in the valley, only a few blocks away, I'm polled annually by the township tax department as to how much square footage and the cost that I rent to other people in my building so that they can determine taxation. Well, if the industrial building is filled with people who are illegal, then they must be paying cash to the owner of the building to be there, at which point it's not the
That's your prerogative to indict the man.
well,
It's
the
not mine.
$85,000 in taxes that property is generating industrially maybe is much more that this town doesn't know about and is not really going out of its way to find out. I understand people are being evicted by the township and sent notices.
We're not evicting anybody by the township.
Well, it's based on problems with illegal tenancy. They're not in record in the township as being a viable business, paying business
So
taxes.
they sold that property evidently to a developer.
Well,
We didn't evict them.
supposedly notices have been given by the building codes department to tenants in the building. And illegal tenancies because they're not registered.
That's their job, isn't it, Jeff?
Well, it's their job to get them registered, not to throw them out. It's the property owner's job to throw them out. If there's something illegal with the tenancy, that's the property owner's problem. I know, I'm a property owner and it's my problem. And so, you know, that's what we do when it's properly dealt with by the town. Now, you know, if you're going to replace it with rental residency at 5 to 6 times density that's allowable on the property, rentals, what is that going to do to our Board of Education? How many kids in these overloaded?
Probably nothing.
They're overloaded schools. Oh, let me hear that a little louder.
This is
Probably
the
nothing.
same argument you gave up on Franklin Avenue.
The what?
On Franklin Avenue. You gave that
No,
argument.
it's polluted. The cost to clean that, remediate that property to residential standards is astronomical. Why did Roche back away from it?
I
Because
don't
it's
mean that.
incalculable.
I'm talking about the townhouses, the condominiums up on Franklin Avenue that was going to overload, Essex Park, that was going to overload our school system.
Hey, well, you know what? That was condos. This is rentals. Are you suggesting that there's no difference to this school with condos, really, versus rentals?
I'm going to say it's going to be probably the same.
And incidentally, Mr. Robel, you spoke out roundly, decisively against former second ward councilman Fiscaldo about the density when it was going to be possibly reduced
Hey, Jeff,
from
and
21.
we did reduce it, Jeff. If you remember correctly, we did reduce it, and we brought it down. And yeah, I'll agree with you. 15 years ago, 12 years ago, whatever it was, they were looking at 450 units up there. So the density was absolutely absurd. So we did bring it down, Jeff. You're right.
Well, we brought it down. Boy, this one's 5, 6 times the density level of resident. Well, excuse me, exactly what is this going to cost the taxpayers? You're talking about tax abatements or a pilot program? So we're picking up the extra cost of all these things and people aren't paying their fair
We
share.
don't have a developers agreement yet.
No, but I'm sure you'll be ready for it in view of where the master plan is going.
Hey,
In review. I mean, is this gonna be an express of the master plan to
Through the
allow
chair.
for spot
Could you just
zoning?
ask the question? Maura, could we have Kevin Esposito come possibly to the next meeting or the meeting after that?
Sure.
And kind of explain to us what the revenue generation would be out of that spot versus what it is currently?
Didn't we talk about this like 4 months
No.
ago, Kevin coming to the meeting?
Kevin wasn't
Oh, I thought he was gonna answer some questions for
here.
taxes.
Get him here.
Well, I know for sure that residential, ownership property is gonna be very different than rentals. And the Board of Education is overloaded. And we need to expand potentially all grade levels. How many millions of dollars is that gonna cost the taxpayers? It's just, that we do not need more residential, least of all, to remove, profitable to the public ratables from industrial space, it requires no services, puts no kids, no additional personnel. What you're going to be doing is expanding our costs. That is not going to help us in any way, shape, or form, and I would like anybody to offer me when taxes have gone down in the 12 years where most of you have sat here. When have they ever gone down, or even stabilized, other than before an election year?
Thank you. Vincent?
Little heavens, can I put this here?
Okay.
First of all, let me bring a personal note to what Mr. Ravel says. My nephew's a dirt broker. He uses some of these trucks. He's down in South Jersey, but he contracts these trucks all the time. They're not running 24 hours a day. They start in the morning, they leave, they go down the turnpike, my nephew sells them dirt, and picks up dirt and sells it to other people, and they're back at night. I challenge you, meet me 5 to 6 o'clock
I went
any
there
day.
at 8 o'clock at night, and there was trucks there, the lights are on, and everything's going, so you tell me.
I will guarantee you, anytime after 5 o'clock, I'll meet you there, I'll buy you a cup of coffee. None of the
I'm not
trucks are
buying
there,
anything.
they're not running. And all the cars, the drivers, they park all over the side streets along the railroad, all their cars are gone. And first of all, it's an economic boom to the township, because every single one of the trucks, and the trucks right here on Valley Street, gas up at Dow Street and Belleville Avenue every afternoon. Have you seen them trucks lined up from 3 o'clock on, gassing up? You gotta see the gas pump, $230, $190, all that. The township, businessman is making money on that. So they're not running 24 hours a day, they're not running in Belleville. They start up in the morning, they're gone, and none of the work that I know of is in Belleville, all right?
Hey,
So let's
you wanna
put that out
rationalize
of
it,
the
go
way.
ahead.
First of all, the facts I keep bringing you. Multi-family mortgages are on a bubble. These are experts in the financial papers. Warehouses in demand. This is, Amazon just put up a new one. More New Jersey industrial space on the way as the economy continues to improve. The demand for commercial and industrial real estate is booming. Exporter opens a Lyndhurst warehouse, has opened a distribution center in there. FedEx site opens a warehouse in Wayne for distribution purposes. You got North Darlington, another one. Two new distribution centers in warehouses in North Darlington, our neighbor. We're not doing this. And in regards to what Mr. Madeline says, you were against 1.5 times density, but you're for 6 times density.
1.5,
Yes.
wasn't one.
The density was 12, they wanted 25, you wanted to come down, we have your statement right here, to 20, 21. No, no,
I wanted it back down to 12.
you wanted,
I
no.
wanted it back to 12.
You can read your own statement, you said
I'm telling
20
you.
or 21. But, all right, let's say 2, I granted it. But now you're for 6 times density, all right? The other thing is, here's the newspaper article where Mayor Kimball was against tax abatement. And every time I brought this up, I'm talking about Mayor Kimball. The other day, I happened to turn to the second page of that article. The vote that time for tax abatement was 4-2. Not only the mayor, you were against tax
But you
abatement.
know, Vin,
Now,
sometimes you might have to
You learn.
change your mind if it's proven to you that
learn.
it's better.
all right, well, I'm going to sum up now with expert testimony. This is expert testimony because I went to the clerk's office and I got the transcript of the January 13, 2015 meeting when the developer stood right here with his attorney, Mr. Cosarelli, and Mr. Dennis McNeil of ABSG 110 Incorporated. This is the developer for Geralman and Portland. I'll read you the thing. First of all, it says the property has been vacant for some time now. Property is not vacant, and you all just acknowledge that it's all rented, albeit illegal or without permits. So that was the first thing. As far as this property, we're seeking to have the property zoned as an area in need of redevelopment. Mr. McNeil, the developer, will introduce Mr. Hasty, who is here, and his tax attorney. There's the expert. Well, the tax attorney says this in the transcript, not my words, the construction financing would not be available if the project was subject to conventional taxation. It would not meet the test. But for some alliance with the town, such as a pilot, this project will not exist. He goes on to say, Mr. Hasty, now this is the tax attorney. This is an expert, an attorney who deals with taxation. Mr. Hasty would like to propose a revenue to the town if it was built on conventional taxes. If the developer builds market rate luxury rental housing, the township would be entitled to roughly $4,000 to $4,500 per unit. If the developer had to pay $4,500 in taxes per unit, he would fail his financing test for the banks. A bank will not loan on that. He goes on to say we need a pilot. Over a 30-year period, we give the town $3 million. Simple math, that's $100,000 a year. 115 units divided into that is $862 per unit. And that's, my pilots are fixed for 30 years. Now, I'm paying $9,000. There's people in this audience paying $12,000, $30,000. Why are we have to subsidize a guy who on the next page says he's going to be renting one bedrooms for $1,600 to $1,900 and two bedrooms from $2,000 to $2,400. This guy's going to make millions, and these poor slobs have to pay the taxes for him because his own tax attorney
We
says.
do a 30-year abatement. We haven't done any abatement. What are you talking about?
I'm reading you
I
of
know,
what he
you're saying,
wants.
but we never gave him an abatement.
Of what he wants. After that testimony at public participation, I stood up here and said, that's outrageous what this developer wants. I hope none of you agree to that because it's your, but what happened? The four of you agreed to this.
We didn't agree to an
Outrageous.
abatement.
Well,
Where did we agree to that? You know that it has to be. You've been around long
okay,
enough.
then if you're not getting it, yes I am. Maybe too long for your benefit because you can't get away with things. But the thing is, with all this documentation, what they want, this is not a viable project. Their tax attorney says it. The bank says it's not a viable project. Why did you four vote for it?
Thank you, Ben.
Thanks, man.
Well, can I get an
I
answer?
haven't heard one viable thing we did in this town from you, so it doesn't matter.
Well, wait a minute. Yes,
No, no,
you did.
I'm not arguing with you.
You did some viable things. Can I tell you what you
No.
did? You declared School 1 an area in need of redevelopment. He got approved for 60 units. What happened? You declared Washington Avenue and William an area in need of development. What happened there? Look at all the areas in need of redevelopment. Has
What
anything
happened
come
here,
to
they tried to bribe
fruition?
me to get something there.
The reason they didn't come to fruition is because you approved crazy
No,
things.
Mario's not
We
here.
also have
Mario's not here.
We also have campaign finance report, which shows hundreds of dollars in donations from developers.
It's not being hidden, evidently.
Huh?
Evidently, it's not being hidden.
No, but some of it is because there are 300 less where you don't have to report it. But we've had a way of finding out who those 300 less there.
Thank
When you get $39,000 in donations of 300 and less, something's very funny there.
Thank
But you have to keep the 3x5 cards.
Thank you.
So we know where the influence is for this, but it's not to the benefit of the taxpayers. So in the spirit of the holiday spirit, let me wish you
Merry
a
Christmas.
Merry Christmas, and hopefully...
You're not coming back at 13?
Huh? Oh,
You're not
you-
coming back at 13?
Well, I heard you may not have another meeting. You can cancel
You get
it.
a lot
But
of
hopefully,
moments.
in the holiday spirit, you'll reconsider and realize that you were elected to serve the people of Belleville, not the developers. And you'll come back after enjoying the holidays and you say, please, relax people down there, that project is a dead issue.
Thank you,
Hopefully.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll speak for a minute.
Hey, Glenn.
Yeah. Okay, I just want to comment. about the signs on Greylock Parkway. In the future, when you put other signs up, I hope they're like that, because at night they're very visible when your car lights hit them, and you know where you're at without stopping traffic or getting bumped into. And on Union Avenue and Overlook, they dug up by Mega Rose and on the other corner for some blinking lights. And they have these spikes sticking out of the ground. Nothing's been done. There's nothing there to put caution things so that somebody doesn't come in the dark and with those spikes really hurt themselves. There's a lawsuit just waiting to happen. Somebody will make a lot of money on that. The fence at the senior building, I don't know who's responsible for putting it up, but thank you very much, because we were already starting to have trouble with people parking there that didn't belong there, that were in the building. So it's nice to see that fence up all around the building over there. And also, Mr. Tucci, if they can watch the lot when it rains like it is, we get a lot of water running down now because they do have that big slope coming down to our parking lot, which is the driving access for fire trucks. And the water is coming up right to the side doors of the building, and they're not airtight doors. They're open on the bottom, so I think you better watch in this rain right now that we don't get a flooded floor in our senior building. But the lot was not checked when it was put in at the slope away from that building. It's right into the building. That's it, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Sir?
Robert Schmidt, Portland Street, the area of concern. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but in keeping with what Mary was saying about, it'd be nice to have someone express a reason why you feel like this development should go through, besides just saying it's a good plan, it's a good fit. I think we deserve to hear more of a reason. What's going on in your head, and particularly for me and Washington Pezantes, I would like you councilmen who voted in support of this to tell me why you are willing to put us in a position where we get evicted. If I were a councilman and I knew there was a family or two families that were going to lose their homes if this development went through, when it's clearly not the most necessary, the most reasonable thing, I would want to explain to these people why. Well, why am I willing to have you evicted? Anybody? Nobody?
So I think we should get Kevin Esposito in here and tell us that it would be more taxes. In other words, it's undeveloped for its use. Huh? I'm sorry, unutilized for its use. In other words, there may be more money in for taxes coming out of that with this development going through. And I think he could prove that to us.
I think in terms of what Vinny's spoken about, what Jeff has spoken about, it may be underutilized from an industrial standpoint, but if you kick ginseng up in the ass, they might get things working there, so it would be very much utilized. It is utilized right now. The dump trucks, they can be a little bit
It's
pain in the ass.
underutilized though for what we could be getting.
Well, you're talking about residential, which I don't think it needs. I really don't think that. Anyway, as I'm saying, I feel like I deserve a personal response.
And
Why are you willing to let?
no, we're not.
kick me out?
We're not evicting you. We're not taking that
No,
from
you are.
The landlord is willing to sell
No,
that piece
but,
of property. Not us.
It's, semantics, okay, semantics, yes.
Irrelevant.
You're not the one directly kicking us out, but if you approve this project, you know good and well, I and Washington Pezantes and his family are getting kicked out because they want to turn my house into a playground or whatever the hell they want. It's insane. We deserve an answer. And as Mary said, just in general, there should be reasons given why you honestly think this is a good project. You speak about Esposito saying you're going to make some money. I don't know. There's got to be some clear reasons, not just, well, we think it's a good fit. That's insane.
I know, and we should. The property unused, Main Street, and all these other vacant properties, we should continue to use it. That's it.
Make a motion, close public hearing.
Yes, sir.
Scott Higgins, just on the lighter side. I'm a member of 105 American Legion, and we're pondering the idea of sponsoring the Little League team next season. And I emailed a handful of weeks ago the rec department, but I never received any response. And I need to know the procedure and
Little
how.
League or recreation? Little League or recreation?
The Little League.
Little League is Tommy
Mr.
Graziano.
had a meeting with you.
Tommy Graziano's the guy.
I just need, well, we just need to know the
Yeah.
procedure, how to do it, what the costs are, and then we'll consider it.
If you call my office, I'll give you Mr. Graziano's number, you can call him, and I'm sure he can lay it all out for you.
We can sponsor a team at the rec house for like $250, they have like a little kids. You
He
know?
wants a Little League.
He wants that Little League thing.
You want the Little League.
I didn't even know, the Peanut League or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
we
No,
have-
I was a little kid, I don't know. I don't remember.
They have that up at the rec house.
I can ponder both things,
Yeah.
they do both,
See both.
You got a lot of money over there. You can
Yeah.
watch the teams up all
especially
day.
my beer money.
Make a
Thank you.
motion, close public hearing.
Second.
Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari? Robel?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Make a motion, move the consent agenda.
Second.
Yeah, number one.
Anything else? 14, you said?
Yes.
Vin? No. Steve?
No.
That's each other?
Tom? One and 14, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Clerk call the roll call on the consent agenda.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes. Resolution number one.
Yeah, I just want a voice vote because there's a bill on there for an engineering firm for the TAP grant that I didn't even know we approved. I mean, I thought there was a phone call a couple of weeks ago and 4 of us said no, but now it's on here, so I'm gonna vote no on, I'm gonna vote no on the resolution. It's on here.
I second.
Nobody knows about it.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
No.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes. Resolution 14.
Move it.
Jill,
Resolution 14 is to congratulate Deacon Guillermo Valadares upon his 40th anniversary of his regional ordination. And he is a great, great man who serves the community. His daughter, Mary Ann, is a lovely a woman, and you can see the quality of the family that he has raised. And I just want to offer congratulations to him on his service to the church, to his family, and of course, to the town.
Make a motion?
Yep. Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes. Resolution,
The resolution's on, wait, the resolution's on the table. We gotta get Murphy and Kelly and Lois Tribuco and, Tom DiBiase and straighten out these appointments. You know, I mean, they gotta all sit down and see who has to resign, who has to get reappointed, whatever it is, that they go in the right spots. And it's, you know, this is the second month it's going on, so it has to be done soon. All right, so, Cal? Vinnie's gonna love this. I got a resolution for new business. Resolution authorizing the advertising and request for proposals, RFPs for the reevaluation of the real property in the township of Belleville, New Jersey. Move it.
I'll second it. Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes?
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes. Any other new business?
I just had a couple quick things. When I was down at the League of Municipalities, there was a, although today changes it, there was this prediction of a drought for the next year. So like, hopefully the next 3 days will kind of delay that. But I just want to let you know, if anybody wants them, what they gave me is a bunch of what they call dye tablets, and they're for testing the toilets to see if they leak. So if anybody wants one, Sustainable New Jersey gave us them. We have them up here if you want. I want to thank the county for the blue line on Franklin Avenue. I think it really exemplifies how we feel about our police officers.
Sure. The county gave us
Approval
approval.
to do it.
All right, the DPW facilitated the line getting painted.
You should put a red line in front of the firehouse. Really?
The other thing we talked about a little bit too tonight, wrote an email, and I was talking to Eleanor Strollo about it a little bit, was this. They have these hearing assistance systems out there that help people, hear, and maybe we can look into seeing what it would cost us to do something like that here. Okay? Thanks. We're done.
Motion adjourned.
Make a motion.
Second.
That's where